Hey folks, Dave Parrish here again. I'm putting out another Knack functionality video. Here's today's topic. And like and subscribe to YouTube if you can, I appreciate that. Quick hack for text formulas. This isn't going to be a long video, but it's a trick I use that's real helpful. If you ever deal with text formulas, and I deal with them quite a bit, especially if you have a lot of fields in tables and you have a lot of connected tables, here's a text formula. Finding what you want can be really difficult. The way Knack presents these, and I don't know if there's a better way, especially in related tables, it's hard to find. And I have a trick that makes it a lot easier because I get confused on it and I spend a lot of time, then you gotta test and see if the right thing populates, and then it doesn't. Just make sure it's right the first time and keep on running. I'll show you what I do. Thanks. Okay, here's my trick for using text formulas. I think this would apply equally to regular equations where you can go get other values or fields. But let's jump into this. What I have here, I do a lot of accounting apps. Here's an accounting app. And there's a bunch of naming structures. Like this whole thing here is put together from multiple values depending on what's going on. Year, market, type of program, all kinds of stuff. This whole program creates a budget for this organization, an annual budget, and then invoices and expense items are put against this line item budgets here. Now, depending on, it's a government-funded thing. Depending on type of grant, the year, the market, this program type, consumer, we got other ones, we got a bunch of them, food service, ingredients, doesn't matter. They all have special codes. So we need to put together the right code here, which represents this particular type of activity. And this whole name, it's all done through text formulas. And we also have to put together this thing called ledger code that the accountant uses. And depending on all kinds of variables, these change. And it's got to be right. When they were doing this the old way, people would be manually putting it in, needing to know the structure of it, and they get it wrong all the time. It causes all kinds of problems. But let's go back to the back end, and I'm going to show you a couple things here. In terms of, I'll show you, this gets really sort of complicated. Depending on all kinds of things, we're grabbing values, we're grabbing some parts of the value, we're changing a year, we're putting all this stuff together using text formulas, and I'm going to show you one of these. Go down to the bottom. This is, depending on the type of thing it is, what the ledger code would be. It's putting in static values. It's going to all kinds of different places within the app, and I say places, I mean other tables, and going to get a particular type of thing. And as I mentioned before, text form. Here's some behavior that I don't think is quite right with Knack. Notice this. I create a text field here. Now, let me move this. Look at how many fields are here. There's a ton of them. And it's let me get into all kinds of related fields too. Now, if I do a search, I'm just going to put something in here, code. Okay? Okay. I'm going to go back. Now, if I search again, or even scroll, this only gives me the native ones. So for me to get back to access to the connected ones, I got to close out of the thing and come back into it. I don't know if they're working on that or not, or if they're even aware of that. But here's the deal. Let's say I'm going to get some code value. I can click in code, and as I mentioned before, or you can scroll, and Knack doesn't let you, by the way, if we, in this particular table or I'm looking at, if it has connected values, they do not appear as native. You have to jump over to the other table and then find those values, or the value you want there. But if I typed in something like code, and I'm looking at this stuff, and it's like, every time, maybe it's just me, I get confused on what it is. And I end up having, it just is frustrating. Here's what I do. Watch this. Let's say I want to go get the code for a particular market. Here's a market. Every market has a code here that is used in a number of different places. Now, I don't want to fart around looking, searching for this or dealing with whatever. What I'm going to do is just go to the code field. I'm going to put a character in front of it that I hardly ever use. I just put an ampersand. Now I'm going to go here. I think you know what I'm getting at. I'm going to go back to my place that I want to do a text formula. I'm going to make one. I'm going to put the text formula. Instead of scrolling, instead of looking, instead of not being sure, all I have to do is type that in. And it goes right to it because it's a weird one. I usually don't start it with an ampersand. I got my thing. I can save it. I can go do that multiple times with the different fields. And every time I do it, I'm going to immediately go back to where I did the identifiable one. I'm going to make it correct it and put it back to how it was. That's what I do. It saves me a ton of frustration. I hope that works for you. Thanks.